What is going on, guys? It is Adam McKay Marf, and this show is going to be packed. We're going to talk about a lot tonight, including Pentagon documents talking about UFOs getting women hot and heavy, and everything else that's going on. It is going to be a good one. So stick around. We'll be right back right after this. Nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you. If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down, you can prevent that by having a VPN. Nord is, again, one of the easiest. Download it. It's like an on switch and off switch. All you have to do. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone that goes through any of our affiliates. Can't say thank you enough.
Word up, what's down? Everyone's an expert now. Everyone wears a crown. Word up, what's down? Everyone's an expert now. Everyone wears a crown.
All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam, a.k.a. Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Tonight we have a lot to go over in a short amount of time, so if it is your first time here, remember, go over to the website, marfooglenews.com, and you will find a full bibliography of everything we are going to cover here, including every single article, tweet, video, picture, anything that is said here today will be over on the website. Now, when you go over there, it's very easy to navigate. It is all done by thumbnail. Xi's nuclear expansion, nuclear summer, speaking of a massive amount of silos being built and now confirmed. And then, of course, once you click on that, you'll see that every single article, tweet, video, picture, document is there. Now, on top of that, once you hit a yellow bar, that is the web-only content. That's the stuff that's too far to one direction or that is too hot for TV. That is all there for your use. Make sure to go over there and check it out. On the right side, all of those boxes are affiliate links, which essentially means that those are products that we'll mention during the show. If you do go and you want one of them, you will end up helping the show with a commission and, in most cases, getting a discount. That is how controversial channels like myself end up supporting ourselves in part. So thank you, everybody that supports us. Guaranteed, there are some stuff over there that is useful and may even save your life. All right, let's bring in my co-host / internet brother, Dex James. What is going on today, and how are you doing?
Hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I am doing just fine.
So, first of all, lightning strikes Artemis 1 mission's mega moon rocket launch pad during tests. If that isn't a sign from God, it says 4 lightning bolts struck the launch pad of the mega moon rocket during tests on April 2nd at Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida. It says the rocket, part of the Artemis 1 mission to deliver humans to the moon, is the world's most powerful and stands at 322 feet or 98 meters tall. To put it in perspective, if you've ever been to Seattle, that's about half of the Space Needle, or in perspective, I would say about a third of the Empire State Building. And it says that 3 of the strikes which zapped Tower 2 were low intensity. NASA said in a statement the 4th, a higher intensity bolt, struck Tower 1 at the time. And it says the Orion spacecraft, where the crew will sit, and Space Launch System, the giant rocket, were powered up on a launch pad 39B during a so-called wet dress rehearsal. That dress rehearsal stopped on Sunday, April 3rd, due to an issue with 2 fans that are needed to provide positive pressure to the enclosed areas within the mobile launcher and keep out hazardous gases. It says teams currently see no constraints on proceeding with the test countdown timeline as planned and will continue procedures to power up the SLS boosters and ICPS overnight. So mainly just kind of trippy that the lightning hit in the first place, but we are at the point now, whether you believe or not, again, I think that it's a crazy waste of time if there is nothing out there. But if this really is a moon rocket that is heading to the moon at some point, we are actually at the point where they are testing such rockets. Now, many of you believe that this is because they are trying to get off of Earth, that something is going to happen to Earth. Now, some of you may say that that's really crazy. If you have followed everything that has happened over the last couple of years, it's starting to seem a whole lot less crazy. Remember, all of these elites have basically done a fire sale. They've sold all their stocks. They've stepped down from all of the companies they've run. They are all investing in rockets to other planets. And many of us down at the ground level, we know why. This is the beyond the 1%. This is the 0.1% of people. And what are they spending their money on? They're all spending money on the rockets. You have, of course, Virgin doing theirs. You have, Jeff Bezos doing his. You have Elon Musk doing his. And even smaller companies. I just found out that there are several other billionaires that are starting kind of startups like this. So why are all of these billionaires doing these rocket missions, and why are they trying to go to the moon? Some think that it's because of money, and it's going to be a huge revenue stream of tourism and all of this. I see with everything that is happening here down on Earth, that things are going really, really badly. And if you do believe, if you're one of the many people that believe that all of this is kind of planned out, then you would probably see that, plans are imperfect and they don't always work, and it doesn't seem to be going well, or maybe it's going extremely well. We don't know. We might see a collapse of our entire economy, and I should say we will see a collapse, because the dollar system, the dollars that we use here in the U.S., is based on a system of debt. It will collapse eventually. And as far as the world, they are rapidly basically changing everything around us, and they're doing it in baby steps, but by baby steps, pretty much every day something is changing. And that goes from anything from the laws to how you shop to how you work to how you do everything. And that may be because they know something we don't. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And again, that is something that should be talked about. And then Dex, are we? By the way, is our call system fixed tonight?
Yes, Adam. Lines are open now.
Okay, so just to let you know, we just opened our lines at 224400 We are taking live calls. If you want to give me your opinion on why all of the elites are investing in these moon programs and things like that, give me a call at 2244006273. That number is going to be scrolling down here. Again, Marf is 6273. That's 2244006273. Also, if you have any information about the massive amount of equipment that is supposedly moving towards the West Coast, please let me know. I would love to hear or see pictures or see videos. If you have, public convoys going right through town, send me those. That is, again, something that if it's public information, more than likely it's okay to share it. And then Bible Talk 777, thank you so much for your support. You were the last one out. Says if Vlad isn't part of the act, which they might be, they are going to push him to use nukes because he can never be brought back into the world community. He's condemned if he isn't playing a part. Big if. So I reiterate that comment yesterday was actually pretty important, because I have thought about it, and a lot of people have been thinking about, how does he come back from this? How is he okay with this? If he is a part of it, then how would he be okay with basically being the sacrifice, or being sacrificed as far as everything else? I mean, he already wasn't that popular of a guy, but he wasn't like a Kim Jong-un or something. Now it seems like they've already taken Kim out from NK. Now it seems like they're trying to take Vlad off of any kind of system where he is favorable by any country. Is that on purpose? What do you think? Let me know. Simply Pony and Chevelle 1966, thank you for subscribing. Simply Pony, thank you for your early support. Love and Peace, thanks for subscribing. Dark Before Dawn, yeah, what a true screen name that is. And then Joanne Morrison, thank you for joining. Welcome to the Foogle fam. Germany is on the brink of a food crisis as prices increase by 20 to 50%. So I don't believe it's just going to be Germany. We are seeing this everywhere. As I was talking about earlier this week, and as Dex and I were chatting about, is that now with the gas prices as they are, for truckers, especially the refrigerated units, they're moving all sorts of essentials around our country and yours. These gas prices really are going up globally. That means that basically everything is going to be a domino effect. Everything is going to go up, from milk to eggs to pretty much anything that is refrigerated that gets transferred is going to go up. I mean, we're talking about, and then, by the way, we've stacked this on top of the two biggest exporters of wheat, which are now currently in a conflict. You have diseases going through all of the poultry. So all of the chicken and turkey and all of this is all getting messed up. All of the farmlands, because of extreme weather events over the last 2 years and 3 years, have had just extraordinary events happen to where their yield is just absolutely, a pity. And then you have essentially pretty much the entire transportation network fell apart during CV, or was taken apart via CV. So there is pretty much, we haven't even hit the really hard parts. A lot of the things that most people buy, or a lot of the frozen stuff and things like this, that is, that's the stuff that the majority of, the lower earning people buy. That stuff is now starting to raise. Everything is now starting to hit, as far as everything that we kind of expected. So as far as the food crisis, it's pretty bad in Germany. It says Germany is steeping towards the return of the dreaded Weimar hyperinflation as consumers brace themselves for a massive price hike for everyday goods and groceries at a whopping 20 to 50% rise. Even before the conflict in UKR, prices soared by 5% across the product range due to increased energy prices, HD President Joseph Stankenhanzer warned on Friday. It says that the bear's invasion is now pummeling economies and the supply chain as more price increases are on the horizon. It says, quote, "The second wave of price increases is coming, and it will certainly be in double figures," Stankenhanzer said. So, it said the first retail chains have already started raising their prices in Germany, and the rest will likely follow, according to the president of the trade association. Now, remember, our country is trying to do stuff. They're trying to pull out of reserves, and the president put in a thing where if you're not drilling it, you lose it type of thing. And they're saying that they're going to give stipends and all of this other stuff. That doesn't change the amount that the gas is being charged now, and that doesn't change how it's going to affect the later. Between the transportation problems, between the gas, between the poultry, between the meat, we've covered the meat problems, but behind the hacks, behind all of the events that have happened to these big providers, we haven't even seen the rises yet. We actually heard the president via a script tell us that the shortages are coming. So they have told us point blank they are coming, as a matter of fact. And they don't want to be the butt of a joke, even though they are, as far as they want to be able to go back and say, "We told you so." So there are certain things that they prologue or they I guess put out there before it happens. So not good stuff. As far as Germany, many look at Germany and say that this is something that will soon happen to the U.S. In a lot of ways, we have similar setups. I don't know how true that is. I've never been to Germany, but that's how people are looking at it, that this is coming our way as well. So 20 to 50%, if you can think about it, that's kind of what we predicted as far as milk at $11 or $12 a gallon, things like this. But that's even higher than 50%, right? So, and then here it's already like $8 or $9 if you get organic. I couldn't imagine that doubling. But think about that. And then Alphabet's wing to begin biggest U.S. drone delivery test in Texas. It says Alphabet Inc.'s wing is about to begin the largest drone delivery test program so far in the U.S., starting Thursday in the Dallas suburbs. It says Wing LLC, which had announced its intention to begin the Texas deliveries last October, has obtained permission for the program from the FAA. The company said in a statement Monday, it says that Wing will be selling items from a Walgreens store and is also working with other companies to deliver ice cream, pet medications, and first aid kits. It says that Wing, Amazon.com, Inc., Prime Air, and United Parcel Service, Inc., among others, are trying to remake the retail sales world by using small drones to deliver products to homes. But routine drone deliveries are still years away because U.S. regulations currently don't permit some of the technologies, such as the robotic flights envisioned by the companies. It says this is an important milestone for Wing and drone delivery in the U.S., Wing's company's chief executive officer said in a blog post. The deliveries will be available for people living near Dallas, in Frisco, and in Little Elm, the company said. The company, which does most of its business in Australia, says it surpassed 200,000 deliveries earlier this year. So we're essentially in that future that we kind of envisioned. It's not so much flying cars, but flying drones delivering things. And as we said a couple years ago, that this would become more prevalent, and pretty much everybody sees this happening. Really, the people that really saw it first were anybody who was a hobbyist drone flyer, anybody who was a cinematic filmmaker with DJI products or anything like that. If you had a drone, you would realize that all of the FAA rules, just started clamping down like crazy. And they essentially put out kind of a timeline of how things would change. And that timeline shows in the next couple years that it will be less hobbyists flying their DJI drones and drones like it, and more commercial companies. They're trying to keep that space open for people like, Walgreens and Walmart and all these big box retailers to be able to deliver. Another thing I want to mention while we're talking about big box retailers, I think that this shows as well with recently here locally, there is a store closing, a Walmart store that really boggled a lot of the people that live near it, and also several stores around the country. In fact, over the last year, I want to say, I believe there was a huge shuttering of over 150 Walmarts, and now they have closed 3 more. And slowly, we were actually watching the Walmart, the untouchable Walmart, actually losing and shuttering stores. And I think that's because they are moving towards going from a warehouse and then just droning it straight to your house, that people won't be going into a Walmart. After CV, they adjusted to these things and they said, hey, this is or I believe some of the lower companies, they adjusted to this and they saw huge opportunities and said we could just deliver it via drone or, deliver it to their house and save paying employees. One reason why they don't have Walmarts in Seattle, but they had Walmarts everywhere around in this state, is because Seattle had one of the first states to raise that $15 minimum wage, and they did not want to pay that. So you would see Walmarts everywhere except for the places that had these $15 minimum wages. Same with San Francisco, I believe. So they don't even want to pay their employees minimum, the $15 minimum wage. And then, of course, you saw during CV, it was crazy. Everything transferred over to self-checkout. So it's like they're trying to get rid of all employees. They're like, hey, let's just cut them out entirely and have people, delivering straight to their home. So what do you think about this? Is this a good thing or a bad thing in your mind? I, for one, will certainly say I like actually going into a store to buy my products. And I thought it was crazy for the last 10 years how fast online shopping has now turned and changed the world. And then thank you again, everybody over on DLive. Thanks for popping in. And it looks like we have several people that popped in so far. Big shout out to Zippy Moons. Be brave, be strong, be fearless. Joshua 19, so much turmoil. We need to find our own peace. Love to you all. Moxie 71, thank you so much. Sean and Penrod, thank you. Light of Vibes, really. Vicky K, Badger 1, Pam Beth, and TKOC, thank you so much. Grand Illusion. There was actually a Grand Illusion Theater by me. That's a cool name. And then Cray, thank you. Serenity PA, Crazy Taco, Leah Bobe, Thank you so much. Leo Bobia, that's what it is. Artail and Skyhouse. Thank you, everybody that went over and supported via DLive and that crew. And then we have Elon Musk taking over a part or a board position at Twitter. I think this is important. I will mostly point you over to our video over on Marfoogle News because I believe that this is extremely important. For those of you that do not use Twitter and don't realize how important it is, if there was some sort of hero movement, this is where I would hope it would be, is if Elon was able to convince them to, say, bring certain people back, and that means everybody. I mean, everybody that got booted for stupid stuff. The ex-president, I think there should be no place that the president can't speak, no matter if he's current or previous, and that includes JB. If they ever booted JB, I would say the same thing. And as far as him buying a huge percentage, more than Jack Dorsey, in fact, we talked about how that actually didn't sway too much of the power. Actually, Dorsey owns a certain type of shares where his vote is just as much worth as, say, Elon Musk, who is the now largest shareholder of Twitter. Dex, do you want to talk about what happened here?
Yeah, so this is what's interesting is the type of structure when they created Twitter, they didn't create separate shares that had special power, which is what some of the other tech giants have done. So while, the board over at Facebook can make a decision, Mark can say, hey, I don't like that. Zuck can go in and just do his own thing. So he has full control. Well, they don't have that at Twitter. They basically, the shareholders own the company and the shareholders make the say, which basically means the boards can make decisions. And just to put it in perspective, Dorsey stepped down and resigned. Well, he didn't do that just willy-nilly. He did it because a investor sort of forced his hand to do it. Well, that investor did it with only 4% ownership. Okay. So he had 4% ownership and he was able to convince the CEO to step down and leave. So imagine what somebody like Elon can do with 9%. So this is actually a much bigger story. It was pretty big yesterday, but it's even bigger now. And obviously we see that they're inviting him in, saying, come be a board member. We want to work with you, because they know heads can roll.
Not only that, he's part of the entity that is paying their bills. Now, remember, Dorsey did not take a salary. In a way, he did like $1.40 a year salary. And the reason why is the way that he put it forward is that his money and how he would earn his money is his stock. And the better the company did, the better he did, kind of like Steve Jobs. As far as, say, the new CEO, he is taking, what was the new CEO's
like $1 million annual package.
Yeah.
Between bonuses, salary, and probably more stock too. But yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah. So instead of $1 million, now the new CEO is $1 million a year, and I guarantee you there's more money than that. As far as he's got to be able to cut deals and get people in with advertising. I mean, it's just like a politician. That's how powerful Twitter is. One thing that we noticed over the last couple of years is what was trending. So you take anything that is trending over on Twitter, and this is the hugest part. And Elon, if you ever watch this, so say it is a hashtag and it is on, say, the right side, it will say, bring DT back or something, hashtag bring DT back. And it will basically show you every negative tweet about that hashtag. It will be all of the haters, and it will show that for the first 20 pages. And you have to scroll and scroll and scroll, or it will be somebody's hashtag for a positive thing on that side, but then they'll show you the negative stories before it. So they're handpicking the results. There's no other way. There's no way an algorithm could accidentally pick those results. If you do it with anything that is getting, or scandals that we've all looked at, the laptop, that was a good one. Last year when that was coming out, any new hashtag with the laptop, it would come out and it would say fake news, disinfo, and that was the top 150 results. It was like page after page after page. And then once you got past that, you saw all of the people's real information, all of the stuff, all of the reputable places that were saying, hey, this is true, this is 100% this. Those were all way down. And we're talking about big publications that were saying it was real, and they were placed underneath, average Joes that were saying, oh, this is a bunch of baloney. It's like their trending is completely broken. That's not real trending. That's what they pick. So if you own Twitter and you have that many people on Twitter following and doing this stuff, then you can control information. It's a huge, huge thing. Realize that everyone who has been canceled has virtually been canceled through Twitter. So there is reason, even if you're not on Twitter and you're like, I don't care about Twitter, you do care about your favorite people or your favorite personalities or your favorite YouTubers. They're all canceled through Twitter. So think about that. Every politician that you've ever seen get just totally rang through, they get rang through the ringer with Twitter. So this is a big deal, and we will see what this does. And and of course, there's a hope in the back of our head that he's going to fix it. And the changes I would like to see is if the trending were honest, and if there's a scandal and a hashtag that goes with that scandal, you see that scandal front and center. Right when you look up at and you click that tag, it's not 20 things basically convincing you that this is just some wild theory, right? And that's what they do for everything. Anytime AJ trends, it will be 50 posts of how he's just a complete buffoon. And we're talking about the good things he's done, right? Not the bad things. Not the crazy things or the outrageous stunts or anything. I'm talking about some of the things that he used to post. It would go boom, and it's like 100 people saying he's a complete buffoon. It was on purpose. It was handpicked. So people are handpicking, just like other platforms, and I won't say which ones, but other platforms were picking who was up there and who wasn't. Perfect example. Tom McDonald, whether you like him or not, was trending like crazy, but wasn't actually on the trending. It wouldn't say, it would say trending on the video when you go to his video. But when you go to the actual trending list, he was like number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 over the 5 days. It didn't show him. It would just skip right over. It would go from 1 to 3. And it's like, how do they do that? Because they didn't like the message being shared. I just think it's freaking absurd. And Bible Talk 777 says, when they enforce 15 an hour nationwide at McDonald's, they will go full automated robotic when they will wish they had taken the $9 an hour. Now they make $0 an hour. Well, hopefully that will push people to get robotics degrees. I don't know what to do about that. I mean, it's like, there are so many, these companies do not want to pay anything. They want every cent of profit. They do not want to pay a livable wage. That's very clear. Walmart is one of the worst. And then, you wonder Walmart, how they keep their prices the way they do. It's because they do backdoor deals with buying bulk from these companies. They barely make something, but they make it on a grand scale. So it ends up being a whole lot. And then they don't pay anything. They don't pay overtime. They don't pay anything. I literally saw this woman at Walmart being told mid-sentence, she said, clock out. And she's like, well, okay, well, I'll just finish. No, clock out now. In front of like 10 customers, this manager told her, clock out. You're already 3 minutes past. Clock out. Told her like rudely, like, hey, go over there and clock out. It's like, they don't want to pay any. Same with Fred Meyer. I saw the same. I've seen this multiple times while checking out. A checker at Fred Meyer got told, don't finish this. Nope, stop. And halfway through her scanning things, they said, oh, step out. And it held up everybody. She goes, clock out. And she gave her a mobile device and she clocked out. And I'm like, what the hell? And they don't. And I said, oh, don't want to do overtime, right? They're like, yeah, we got to keep it, we got to keep it to 40, most places are like that now. That's nuts. Overtime is how people survive on regular jobs. So if you go to a job and they say they don't do overtime, or you quickly ask everybody that works there, hey, do they let you do overtime? If they don't work there. Doesn't matter what it is. A good company, they'll do however many overtimes as you want. They're looking for people. They want people to work. And then, as Twitter users urge Elon Musk to reinstate DT's account. I mean, that's an obvious. I think that there's more important ones. I think Babylon Bee is actually a very important one. If we do not have satire, if we do not have truth through comedy and things like this, if you cannot question anything, this is where we're headed. This is why comedians can't make jokes. This is why there is a heavy view towards like the Chris Rock and Will Smith thing. As much as I don't care about those two, as far as him making that rude joke, it was rude. And of course that Jada, is balding from alopecia, and that's a really horrible thing to pick on somebody. But he should be able to say it without, physical recourse. Anybody should be able to say anything without physical recourse. That's just my opinion. Share yours in the comments down below. But there's also people that are like, hell yeah, if somebody said that about my wife, I would do it too. I think it would be a little bit different if you were a possibly billionaire and role model to millions of kids around the world that look up to you and look at you as an idol. And your whole reputation is not swearing, being a family guy, the best ever. I understand it's more complicated than that, but the fact is, Chris Rock or anybody else, it is setting a huge example, and it's in the back of every comedian's head that they can't say anything. And comedy is a huge thing as far as being able to talk about it. Dex, who is JP? JP Searle, right? Is it JP Searles? I want to say Waking with JP, right? That channel, that dude, one of the smartest guys ever, and he gets hit all the time, and he shouldn't, especially with satire. For a while there, it was they understood that. Even this platform right here, the big YT, they were letting satire go. That's why a lot of people were using that tag, because satire was getting through the cracks. If you called it satire, essentially it wasn't looked at the same way as other stuff. Now it's the opposite. Satire is not allowed. You may not make jokes about anything. So I hope that does happen, because it sets a precedent for anything and everything. Vlad, just to give you a really hypocritical thing, our biggest world adversary that they're comparing to Adolf, Vlad, is still on Twitter. Vlad. Says a lot. If you want to call in and give me your opinion, 224400MARF. Again, that's 2244006273. And then I'll go over and see. It looks like we have Trisha, a first-time caller. And Trisha does not have a very peachy opinion here, but we'll talk about it. Trisha from Montana is going to be on the phone. While you get Trisha on, I will remind everyone, if you have not already, I don't really have to tell you why this is a good idea, but most people should be looking into getting long-term survival food. Not only that, if you do not have kind of things set up or your ducks in a row, I'd highly recommend going over to marfooglenews.com/prep. There's everything from long-term survival food, buckets, MREs that will store for years. They're extremely tasty. They're at a great price, and everything is in stock. But also you have other gadgets like battery power, battery banks, first aid, medical, all sorts of great stuff. There's also water filtration systems such as the Alexa Pure Pro. That is going to be extremely important if SHTF happens and our system goes down or our grid goes down. The second the grid goes down, so does running potable water. So you would definitely want something like that. If you want to stock up on iodine pills, you can go there for that. So again, there's tons of different stuff there. And again, on the 3-month supply right now, they're doing $150 off on a 3-month supply of long-term survival food. And that is also helping out our channel as well. When you go to marfooglenews.com/prep, anything that you go over and purchase from that, it will end up giving us a small commission. In most cases, it will give you a discount. It basically is a win-win for everybody. So make sure to go check that out, marfooglenews.com/prep. All right, let's get Trisha on from Montana. Trisha from Montana. And then Trisha's popping in here. And it looks like she's going to be unmuting here.
And Adam, I'm trying to get Trisha on. Hang on one second.
Okay, and then it looks like...
Hey, Adam, if you want to jump ahead to the next caller, I'll reestablish Trisha.
Okay, that works. I want to hear Trisha's call. I hope she does not drop. She believes there's going to be a nuclear exchange. Laguna Berry says, I just sent Dex 2 emails, 2 videos of oil going by my house today by train. No vids, no copyrights. I will have to check that out. So you did submit that to marfooglenews.com/play my video, I assume. One more for the road. I'll catch the replay tomorrow. Zippy Moons. Good night, Foogle fam. Hey, thank you, Zippy Moons, and I hope you do watch a replay. There's stuff coming up that you will not want to miss. And then there is a username that just followed called China Wins. What is going on? Welcome to the Foogle fam. All right, and then we'll get them on here.
Adam, MG Toe is live.
Okay, MG Toe forever. You are live from California. MG Toe, what's going on?
Hey. Well, I talked to Dex a little bit about it, but what people don't realize is ever since the beginning of COVID, the prices of not just food, but a lot of things have been going up. And it's only going to get worse because that was just inflation, basically. Now you have gas going up, and then you have fertilizer. So with fertilizer, the thing with that is it's going to take time for it to take effect, but when it hits, things are going to skyrocket, like anything produce-wise. And it's not just like produce. There's a lot of, like, for example, potatoes, and then cornmeal, which is used for Cheetos. Same with tortilla chips. There's a lot of things that are just going to skyrocket. And I've noticed in the last 2 years, I mean, I've been with Safeway for 9 years, and I've worked at like 30 different stores. And I worked way too much. And I see all the tags that when I walk down the aisles, I'm always looking at everything. When you get off of work, when you clock out, you're ready to go home, you just can't help but look at, I mean, you're surrounded by food, so you're always looking at stuff and grab on your way out. It's insane.
Well, you know, MG,
how the prices have gone up before COVID.
You know how the tags underneath the product end up showing you, you know, if it's toilet paper, it says 2 cents per ply, or it will say if it's crackers, right, it will say like 1 cent per pound or whatever, or per ounce, right? And you look at the 4 different, say, cracker brands, and you go, okay, well, this is 1 cent per ounce, and this is 5 cents per ounce, and you look at all that. I wonder if somebody actually kept track over the next 6 months how much it was going up, and some of it is really specific. It will be like, you know, it will be a 6-pack, and it will say per each, you know, $1.44, $1.44. You look at that in 6 months, and then all of a sudden, the one out of a 6-pack is as much as the 6-pack it is right now. We have heard that this inflation is going to now turn into hyperinflation, which I don't think people are really even realizing how bad that could get.
Well, yeah, I was talking about that with Dex too. Not only are the prices going up, but people don't realize They're shrinking everything. Although people just pay attention to the prices, like, oh, price went up. They notice that. But whenever it comes down to like the actual size of the product, especially when it's boxed, when there's a plastic bag of the product inside a box, you don't really notice. I mean, the box same size, but they keep shrinking everything. So instead of boosting prices constantly, they kind of do both at the same time. They'll boost the price a little bit, and then they'll shrink it, and then boost it again. So it's a boiling frog technique. They don't do anything like that too fast, or else people freak out, and they're already freaking out. And that's the worst part. It's the beginning. And people are already freaking out about prices on everything.
Yeah, there's a TikTok video that's really big right now. It shows Febreze, and it's the air freshener, and they cut it. And you know how the bottom of the bottle goes all the way down? Well, they cut it at the bottom. And
it used to go all the way down.
Yes, now it is actually a round bottom, like the bottom of like a tennis ball box, and they square it out so you think you're getting this much, but it's actually the bottom has a label, so you don't see that the bottle is actually round, and you're losing like 5 ounces. Almost everything, like you said, anything that is in a box. In fact,
everything, not just food. Not just food, everything.
Cleaning agents, everything. That's why they're doing that tricky
everything. No, it's
wrapping.
Not just food.
Go ahead,
It's insane. No, I was just adding in. No, literally, like you were talking about clean stuff. No, literally everything, not just food.
I really noticed it when it was the cereal boxes, when the family size was the size of the regular size cereal box. And I'm looking at the family size, and there's all these stupid size names now, like share size. Even the share size of the candy bars. King size candy bars aren't even king size. They're share size, and they're cut in the middle. So you're getting the same size bar, but it's cut into 2 pieces. So you think it's that big, but it's actually 2 smaller pieces, and you miss that middle part. That middle part, you may not notice that that's that much, but when they're making thousands and thousands of them, they cut that much product out of the thing, and they charge you more because it's share size. That's called shrinkflation, and we've talked about that as well, but that is getting absurd. And then the pints of ice cream are now
increasing prices. You do that.
Well, yeah, and the pints of ice cream aren't even pints now. They're like, don't they say something different, like 0.07 pints or something? And then they're charging $6, $7, $8 for the ice cream. It's like, how can anybody survive or even live somewhat good when things are like this? It's just insane. You're buying twice as much to get as much as you used to before. It's incredible.
That's exactly what I was telling Dex. It's harder when you increase prices on products like that, it's harder to get away with it. But whenever you shrink the size of it and you do it in a smart way, literally 90-95% of the people will have no idea that you did that. And you do it a little bit at a time.
Yeah, say if they remove even 2% of a product from almost anything and charge the same price, they are going to save money, especially when it's in a bulk product or like a cleaning agent. That Febreze, I am sure that they just saved so much from taking that out. Just like as if like a bottleneck on a soda or anything on the Gatorade. Honestly, these little bottles, what is this? 12 fluid ounces. But they'll put it like that. They'll bottleneck it so it looks like it's bigger or more, but it's really not. It's just the way that it's packaged. No, I hear what you're saying. I think people need to prepare for that. That's why we say hedge your bets and get food now, because that food, if it is storable like canned food, it will end up being worth more down the road. You won't be able to replace it for what you buy it at now. You buy it now, in 3 years from now, it's still good and still edible. You're looking at 3 times the amount price to actually buy that same can of food. We're gonna see $6-7 cans of chili. It's absolutely insane,
dude. It's already like $2.50, $3 a can. I've been doing that. I have a bunch of chili, but I've been pissed. I have like 30 cans of my favorite chili ever, my canned chili, and it's been out. My work has been out of it, and I've checked other places. It's been out. I can't find it anywhere.
What are you talking about? The Silverado? What are you?
Well, the canned chili, they're like I said, they're reducing the brand. So like I have a certain canned chili that I like that I stocked up on. So thank God I have plenty of it. But I consistently buy more like every week. I'll just go on a whole grocery run and pick up a bunch of canned stuff, just store up on food. And there's a top ramen and the canned chili. Those are my two favorites. They're like out of everything. They just face it. It's not full. It's just faced. So it looks full, but you could clear it out in one person or two people. Like if it's just there's nothing. There's barely anything left. Like any of the non-perishables.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you. Well, MJ, we're out, MG Toe Forever. We're out of time. I appreciate you calling today. Is there anything else you want to say before you go?
No, that was pretty much it. Just talking about anything about groceries and storages, and if you had any questions. But no, that was pretty much it. It was good talking to you.
Well,
I don't know if you had any questions.
I do have
in the grocery business. Like that, that's all I've done in my entire life.
I do have a couple friends that work.
If you had anything,
are you able to hear me, or are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's kind of laggy, but no, I could hear you.
Yeah, I know. I hate when there's a little delay like that. I have a couple friends that work at Safeway. One of them is pretty high up, and they have been telling me about how some of the shortages are actually pretty incredible. So, no, it does help to have somebody in the grocery business. So, especially down in California, and my friends are all in Washington. So now we've got kind of the whole West Coast, and we can see if something rings true here, we can see if it rings true there. Thank you again, MJ Toe Forever. Sorry. And thank you for calling tonight. Sorry about that, guys. Just keeping you awake, folks. And then let's see here. Chevelle 1776, thank you so much. Over on D-Live lead dispenser, because I purchased it all. Sorry, hit me if you want. That's funny. Off the cuff news, thank you. And R Tate, thank you. Looks like we had several people over the last week go over to PayPal. Thank you guys for doing so. We do appreciate that. It is incredibly appreciated that you guys do that. Again, not required, but appreciated much so. Mary K, Davis D, Barefoot Lass, thank you. Long time Foogle fam, supporting my favorite channel. Much love. Well, thank you, Barefoot. And then Don B, Peter S, Carrie M, LJ, William W, thank you for the support. And then Linda P, Tina SM, and the Madco group. Thanks, everybody that does that. Again, you guys probably understand why. Then you are not basically giving 50% to a conglomerate alphabet agency, literally. All right, thank you so much. And then America's latest hypersonic cruise missile made a secret test flight. So I think a Foogle fan member mentioned this and went around the time this happened. I feel like we knew about this but couldn't confirm it. The first known flight of a Lockheed Martin's Hawk, or HAWC, was kept quiet in an effort to avoid worsening relations with the Bear Country. It says the U.S. conducted a secret test of a Lockheed Martin's hypersonic air-breathing weapon concept, or Hawk, missile last month. It has been revealed the hypersonic missile was launched successfully from a B-52H boomer off the west coast of the U.S., but officials decided to keep the test under wraps, apparently in response to growing tensions with Vlad. It says this is the first time that a test of the Lockheed Martin Hawk, successful or otherwise, has been announced, and that's not to say there haven't been others in the past that remain classified. Also, the missile is not to be confused with a rival Hawk design from Raytheon and Northrop Grumman, for which a successful test launch was announced last September. Here again, it's unclear if that was the first such test. So they're saying it was secret and it kind of popped out afterwards, but we don't know if there have been other tests. Most of us assume that they have been testing hypersonics this whole time, that we probably have weapons way beyond anything that people can imagine. But when you actually team this up with, say, AI or some other system, I think that it is pretty much well confirmed that there is a country that is ahead of the U.S. in AI. Maybe we are actually the leader in hypersonics. We don't know. But I do feel like we are behind in AI. And that's a scary thought, considering who is ahead of us. Remember back when it was early in its stages, some countries jumped on that and realized the potential for it, while other countries said it was, a joke. It depended on where they were and what their current objectives were for their countries and how they wanted to treat their people. China has some very, very, very scary draconian measures they have already employed, and it is fully in place in their country. In fact, CV pretty much cemented that. So lots of really crazy stuff going on. And we know that from people in the Fugel fam that were working as English translators in China during CV. There was a couple streamers that had to stream via a VPN just to get out of there, and they were in the third place in China that got hit with CV during all of that craziness and all of the videos of people falling down in the street. One thing I'll tell you, remember those videos when people were like frothing at the mouth and falling down and all that? During that time period, they were not allowed to leave or go outside. Or when they were on one essential trip. One streamer actually went out and she was walking down the street, and I think, she had her temperature taken, and she was 0.1 point off of getting taken away. And there were people across the street getting lined up against a building, and this is real. This is the thing. Like, we know this person. There were people being lined up against an apartment complex, and they were being taken away. Like, that's how scary it is there. I'm sorry, but that's a wake-up call for anybody living there that is any kind of a citizen. And she was a South African citizen. So I couldn't imagine being there during this whole thing going down. But yeah, they were getting lined up and basically chained together and taken away. That part was real. As far as the videos of everybody falling down, I don't know. But as far as the way that they treated it and snatched people up, that was real. Typically, hypersonic speeds are defined as anything Mach 5 or above. In the past, the Air Force and the Defense Advanced Research, or DARPA, have said that the missile will use a rocket booster to accelerate at least to that speed. Then, after which, the scramjet will ensure it maintains a speed between Mach 5 and Mach 10. In this latest test, the Lockheed Martin Hawk reached an altitude greater than 65,000 feet and flew for more than 300 nautical miles. By the way, how fast they go, 300 nautical miles, it would have hit like that. I don't know what the speed would be on that, but that would be incredible. How fast would that be? If anybody in the audience wants to do the math on that, if you're going Mach 10, how fast would 300 miles go? All right, and then let's see here. Zechariah, their flesh shall dissolve while they stand on their feet. Their eyes shall dissolve in their sockets, and their tongues shall dissolve in their mouths. Sounds like a nuke. Yes, that is and that's not even in Revelations. That's in Zechariah. Crazy, creepy thing there. All right, and then let's see here. All right, and okay, so let's see here. Chevelle and Marfoogle's Safeway friend Jack. What is going on? Thank you for subscribing. His name's not Jack, but thank you. and it's not a him. So anyways, so let's go over here and let's check out the Kremlin reverts to type in response to alleged in UKR. Dex, if you are free, it looks like you are. I wanted to kind of bounce off of you some things that I was thinking about on this as far as this event goes. And now things are coming out and changing by the day, it looks like. It says the horrifying evidence of the execution of civilians emerged from the UK town of Muntra and elsewhere over the weekend. The government took a familiar tack: deny, deny, deny. Now, it's hard not to, now what the Ganda is that if you go against what our legacy media is saying, is that you support them. Okay? I think that is typical tactics of us. If you go against anything that we are saying, the same people that just put us through 3 years of hell, the same people that lied to us over and over again, that said things that were real were fake, the people that, fake like they were in weather when they were, fake like they were swimming in 8 feet of water were up to their shins, those same people are now telling us this, and if we don't believe it, all of a sudden we're carrying Putin's water or something. I think that's BS. I think we should all be able to actually, believe what we want to believe and look at both sides. But now you can't see both sides. It says no matter that some of the explanations were contradictory, and the fact that they have to mention this, it says with state television amplifying claims that the images of the civilians were both staged and that civilians had been taken by UKRs themselves. It says in recent years, the Bear government has developed a familiar playbook in response to allegations of runs in Syria, the downing of the MH17 airliner in East UKR, the Salisbury poisoning, or acts of violence targeting Chechen civilians during the conflicts there and in the 1990s. So they basically named 3 events that everybody basically thought was some sort of operation. So it's funny they use those other ones as a example. Dex?
Well, yeah, but all of the ones they use as examples all have controversial stories behind them as to whether or not they really are this and really are that, right? They all have certainly a Western narrative and an Eastern narrative, right? And they also have something in the middle, which is the truth, right? So finding out what it really is and who's really involved is part of, I guess, our responsibility to, as truth seekers, to sort of look through and try to weed through and take in as much intel as you can and decide for yourself what makes the most sense and what does not, right? I don't think they necessarily want that to happen. They want us to take the spoon and take our medicine as it's given to us, right?
Yum, 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 yum. Some of it, when we cover it, I just hope that people are literally asking questions on every single corner of the street. Because everything that is being put out is by the same people that essentially have lied to us thousands and thousands of times. So you got to look at the patterns and what are they pointing us to next. Remember, this is how I put it. In 20 years from now, what will be in the history books? And if we even think about before we were born, the things we consider history, right? You can be a history major all you want. You can get all the degrees you want. You could spend years and years researching something. And yes, you should be respected for being researching that. But one thing I think of now is these kind of things have existed for a very long time. So what in those history books are like what we are witnessing today? We witness today. You could be somewhere, you could see something happen, you could watch it live, you could see streamers in that building doing things and having things go around, and then you see how media covers it, and they completely omit everything that happened, how they got in, all this other stuff, and I'm not using a specific example or anything, but then you see how media covers it, and you saw it with your own eyes. But nobody will believe you. If you tell your friends and family that weren't watching those streams, This is just a current example because now we have live streamers and 15 of them that all got banned at the same time, and their footage just magically disappears, or now it's evidence. You see how they cover that and how they completely twist everything, and you're like, whoa, how did they coordinate and completely twist this into something else? How are you supposed to believe? Remember, in the history books, this is what will be said. And look at the history books and look at where it's leading. Look at before WW2 and where it led. Look at the arguments they had. Look at the food shortages. Look at the different things and the steps that it took for us to get into a major conflict with real deaths. Millions of people died in WW2. So just remember that. It says UKR activists say they ID'd the of Bucha. So there's both good and bad legends coming out of UKR. It's like one big urban myth. It's like somebody, like the president and everybody else is sitting around a fire, like oh, tell me a scary story. UKR activists claim to have identified the so-called Mutter of Bucha, a decorated Russian commander leading the unit that massacred hundreds of civilians in what is being widely condemned as genocide. Right? So we saw that. We see these pieces come out. Again, Twitter and other places have some people that are very respected in different colleges. Professors have come out and they have shown their data. They have shown different photographs and different things. I'm going to go that far, but I think people need to do their research on everything. And by research, I mean look at both sides and go look at what is out there and make a decision for themselves. But what I will say is, in the history books, is this going to label Vlad as a criminal? Is this going to be the point that makes a huge escalation in this conflict and turns this from a possible proxy and everybody's hoping that this is just going to go up and then go back down? Or is this legitimately, we are witnessing the process of WW3, the next world conflict, with every country involved, millions of deaths? People don't want to believe it yet, but we don't know if it's coming. Dex, did we get Trisha back on? And if we did, let's try to get her back on. In the meantime, I'm going to tell you guys about EMP Shield. If you're new here, I'd highly recommend going over to marfooglenews.com/EMP for more information. If you want to actually protect anything that you want to keep running after an EMP or a CME, go over to marfooglenews.com/EMP. This is 100% American-made, by hand, veteran-owned, company that makes actual EMP protection. They are so respected that they are now doing a ton of the agencies for DOD, DHS, and the DEMSO team. They're actually being used by both of our internal grids. So again, they are doing it. Why aren't we? As far as government and military, they're going to protect themselves for SHTF. Why haven't civilians? Again, you can get the same kind of protection. It will protect against all three phases of an EMP, multiple EMPs, in fact, because they'll come in phases, and they will come in basically groups. This can do it. You can put this on a car. You can put one on a motorcycle, an RV, a generator, a solar generator, a house. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to keep running after an EMP, they most likely make a device for it. Now, this one, you get a huge discount of $50 off per device. So if you do want to do 2 cars and a house, you'll get $150 off. If you just want to do your house and your car, that's $100 off. It adds up, and it is definitely a great savings, and you are helping your favorite channel at the same time. This, we believe, will save lives in the event of an EMP. I think that just the fact that you can put one of these in your car and keep going after no one else can, that's a huge deal. But I would say is don't stop for the red lights. Or if there's no red lights, just keep going. All right, and then Dex, do you want to get Trisha on? And it looks like we have on deck.
And Adam, Trisha is now live.
Shane is on deck too. Trisha, nice to have you. I'm glad we got you on.
Hi. Yeah, I've been a watcher for a long time, but I've never called in. But I saw your heading about the nuclear. And I just want to let you know, I was born into a military family that's been military for generations. I live in rural Montana, close to the nuclear missile silos. We have a lot of military in our town. Anyway, it's on high alert.
And is there
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, no, we're able to hear you. And so what are your thoughts? Do you think that it's a realistic possibility? Do you think it will never happen? What do you think?
No, I do think it will happen, and this may sound kind of strange, but I've had detailed dreams of the future since I was a child. And at Passover in 2018, I had a very big dream, and it showed me what we were going to go through. It showed me the TV, the lockdowns, and that people would be having mass awakening to the lies that we've been told for a long time. I saw food shortages. I saw famines. It was a very detailed dream, and I could go on with it, but it's not pretty. But it ended. The dream ended with a nuclear bomb going off. And it devastated me so bad that I was basically crying for 3 days and couldn't shake it. So yeah, I do think we are headed to a nuclear confrontation, because not only did I see it before all this happened, but I'm watching the news on a daily basis, and we're headed to that direction. And I know that a lot of military's been called up. I can't say a lot about it, other than we are on high alert, and the government is not telling us what DEFCON level we are, truly.
Well, and a lot of people quote the online group as DEFCON, and a lot of people don't actually know that is a private group. But I do believe that they have been quite accurate lately, just basing it on talking to our military members and where they believe we're at. I know that the systems have changed, and for years there we had a colored system of yellow alert or red or this or that. Now they have I think a totally different system than what people think they have, on top of the actual DEFCON type system. And I believe that we are in that, and I think we have been since 2018. I think something happened in 2018 that changed the world, to be frank. The whole Hawaii instance, something is extremely wrong with that. And I think it was part of kind of this long-term kind of event that's been unfolding ever since. So I don't know, but I know how bad dreams can affect you, where you wake up and they affect you so much you just can't stop thinking about them. So there's a lot of folks out there that believe that is a connection to some sort of future event. So very, very freaky. Well, Trisha,
it is very.
Another question.
But it's
Trisha, can I ask?
I do think that.
Yeah, there's a delay here. Trisha, can I ask? You said you grew up in a military family. Do you have any active military in the family right now?
Oh yes, I do.
And without sharing anything that you can't share, what are their opinions? Do they think that we're about close to WW3?
Yes. We have our own communications and basically code words, because we can't see things on phones or computers when it gets to this level. And yes, the notice has gone out to the family that things are very, very serious. And it's not just over in Ukraine. It's fixing to heat up everywhere. And it's going to be like coming at us all at once. And people that have not been paying attention will pretty much be freaking out because they're not prepared. They have not prepared for this mentally or physically. And it's sad, but I'm really glad that you're doing what you do, warning people. I wish I could tell you more. That I have a lot more I could tell you. But I just wanted your family to know that, yes, things are going to get worse before they get better.
Can I ask?
So everybody does need to stock up and prepare.
Do you or any of your family members, are you able to get to a bunker if anything happened? I know that you have silos by you.
We have our plans.
Now, do you know if there's public bunkers? If you're in a town that's right by silos, does Montana have like bunkers that people know about? Or it seems to me like here they don't have any that are publicly, and there may be some old ones from WW2 that are kind of tourist traps, but it doesn't seem like we really have much protection if that did happen.
No, we don't. The only bunkers that are available or not available to the public, and they're in undisclosed locations. So yeah, as far as the public goes, there's nothing in Montana that has a public bunker, unfortunately.
Well, if you compare that to Moscow, they have enough bunkers to essentially hide or protect I believe all 40,000 of the main inhabitants in the one area there. So yeah, not exactly good that we don't know where anything is. Well, thank you, Trisha, for calling in, and I hope you're not right, and I hope your family's not right. But most of us kind of feel that you are. So.
Well, we can see it. We can see all the. It's been planned for a long time, a very long time. So this is the plan that they're determined to go through with. And all we can do is prepare ourselves and make sure we have a place to bug out, make sure we're prepared with food and water, and just keep our heads low and on a swivel.
Well, 100% agree. Trisha, thank you so much for calling. I appreciate you. It's your first time call. Don't make it your last, okay?
Okay, and I want to say Semper Fi.
Semper Fi. Hoorah. That was Trisha. And thank you to Trisha's family and whoever else served. Again, I appreciate everyone who has served in this room right now. Thank you for those who are on base watching the show, or, as far as the reserves or anyone who is listening to this show that serves their country. Want to make it clear, I do support our troops. Sometimes it's really hard to not support the people running your country, but support the people protecting it. I think that there should be a clear difference. I know that there are military members that don't support like what they are actually, told to go do, but they go do it, and they sacrifice greatly to do so, because in the main part of it, they are protecting us, and there's a ton of protection going on top of everything else. It's a very confusing state we're in. I know that this has been many times of an up and down roller coaster of being able to support the conflicts that we're in. Obviously, the Middle East, not too many people supported that one. Vietnam, not too many supported that one either. We've been in several that were, not everybody was happy about. But at the same time, still want to say thank you for your service to everybody that did. Now, speaking of people that are serving, sometimes involuntarily, we talked about the draft yesterday, and kind of the under the table kind of comments that has been going out from our selective service, conscription, aka the draft. apparently Russia did draft already something like 140,000 or something like this. Over 100,000 people were drafted. And they say, this is what this piece is saying, is that the conscripts were given 19th century rifles made to drink from ponds filled with dead frogs. I could just see a word put right in the middle here if AJ was involved, right? It says, Russian conscripts are being given 19th century rifles made to drink from ponds filled with dead frogs due to lack of supplies and ordered to run in front of enemy soldiers to draw their fire, they reveal. Okay, so when people read this kind of stuff, do they not think of like common sense? Even if you think that they're just completely failing and that they're basically they're saying that the entire military of Russia is a bunch of morons. That they are just they have no formal training. These are guys that again did do some work with U.S. troops. They did war games against and certain things over the previous years. Our military leadership before this whole interaction said that they are a very, very scary military to go up against. So it's just funny when there's no conflict going on, you have all of our top brass saying that they're nobody to mess with. They never said that they're backwards and backwoods. That's most civilians think that that's what that the Ruskies are like, right? But that's not what our top brass has been saying for the last 10 years. They have modernized their military. They have extreme training. They have hacked and gotten information from our ways of training. A lot of their tactics and things are very similar to ours. So how are they going back to like 1800 right now in all of these articles? My opinion is that a lot of this is just complete morale boosting kind of ganda. That's just my opinion. What's yours? Let me know in the comments down below. But they're basically saying that they're sacrificing just regular Joes from the village, and just because they got nobody. They're done. UKR has done such a great job that it's not an invasion. It's more of like they went in and just sacrificed fish in a barrel. I don't know if that's the case. Especially when you see some of a lot of the video that's not anywhere. It's those videos that are not allowed to be played that I think people should be watching. That's just my personal opinion. Rumble and other places, all sorts of places you can go and see. That's the thing. I don't think that a lot of those are CGI or any of that, because there's just so many of them. And they're not being pushed in your face. They are being hidden. I don't know why you do all that work to not be seen. But who knows? Maybe it is. And then it does say the new accounts of untrained and ill-equipped conscripts being deployed to UKR are a fresh indication of how stretched the military resources at the Kremlin's disposal are over a month into the conflict that has seen Vlad's forces hobbled by logistical problems and held up by a fierce resistance. It says one of the soldiers, a student conscripted in late February, said a fellow fighter told him to prepare repel a close quarter attack by UKR forces in southwest Donbass, but said, quote, "I don't even know how to fire an automatic weapon." You pull the trigger. I'm sorry. This just sounds like, come on. I understand that these are conscripts, but they're not. They must be doing like a simple test, like, hey, can you write your name? Because that's what it takes, right? It says the student and his unit fired back and evaded capture, but he was injured in a later battle. He told the news agency he did not say when the fighting took place. He didn't say when the fighting took place? Did you grill him just a little bit harder on that one? And then he posed for a picture, apparently. Yeah. They said, hey, can you hold the rifle that we took away from you because you are captured? Or maybe
Those Mosins are heavy too. I mean, that's a heavy gun.
I wonder if anybody can spot the same one on Instagram on one of the.
They're all over the place. I have them. Other people have them. They're collectors. They're not that expensive, but
aren't they like
if you want
$300,
it old,
$500 or something
Yeah.
like that?
yeah, I think I paid like $500 for one, maybe $600. They may be more now, but I've got a couple of them.
So-
they're nostalgic in the sense that they're from the great second conflict, or what was used, right? But
Well,
they're
there's-
big. They're heavy.
They're
long.
saying 19th century, so rifles. Yeah. So okay. So yeah, 1900s.
Yeah, that picture is a Mosin, and I think it's in the article too. It says a Mosin rifle, but yeah, those are. Yeah,
Can it
they're
take?
old.
Can it take someone's life? Probably.
Yeah,
And probably.
and they have bayonets on the front of them too.
I guess whatever is at your disposal, but I would think that before our help, I guess now UKR has a bunch of advanced weaponry, right? Or do you think that all that money just went into somebody's pocket? I don't know. Either way. By the way, Prairie Wind, I've been watching you for several years now and still consider helping to keep you on the air as part of my... Oh, it cut you off there. Hold on. Sorry about that. As part of my preps. Hey, thank you, Prairie Wind. I really appreciate that. And thank you to everybody that has popped in today. Also, I believe I even missed Ilea there. Hold on. Jalen Mason says, Marf, please love Mob on YouTube. The once lost and now found sheep. Appreciate the show. Well done as usual. Once lost and now found sheep. I will have to check that out. And then Jalen, thank you. Once lost and now found sheep. I will have to check that out. I'll check it out and I will try to pop it up on tomorrow's show. Thank you, Jalen. Appreciate it. Nice to see you. And thank you for supporting just in general and everything. Thank you. Zechariah, again, got that one. Amazon brand 2-ply toilet paper is 400 sheets per roll, but they're not square sheets anymore. They're short rectangles. Shout out to Jay and Bone, says Ilea. That's another way that they're able to do that, right? They're able to short you. And then East Tennessee Preparedness, just want to say thanks, Adam, Dex, and Mods, for all your hard work. And then thank you, East Tennessee Preparedness. I hope you are doing your thing and getting prepared. For grid down, you can use two-way radios or ham radios to communicate to group or family. I have to have time to make videos soon. Thank you, Adam, and for all the great news. I just got my EMP shield. Aloha. DJ Cachizo /stuff. Thank you so much for going through us. Really do appreciate that. If it's not through us, then again, there's other people in the Foogle fam that you can get it through as well. Thank you, everybody that does that. Bible Talk 777, when they enforce 15 an hour. I got that one. Awakened Believer, thanks for keeping us informed. Much love. Barbie Burns Fat. Being as self-sufficient as possible is our goal. No to Skynet. You realize Barbie is right when they say no to Skynet. Skynet is real, but it's not the fictional one, the real one that's with the Internet of Things. And then Survival Living, thanks for stopping by. I didn't even see you there. And Granny C, make sure to go check out Survival Living too. Great guy. He's actually trained. He can teach you a lot of stuff. Granny C, thank you for all you do, Adam, Dex, and Mods. I hope you're still here, Granny C. I believe I missed you a long time ago. So thank you so much. And then Justin True, I did not see you either. Aloha Foogle fam, seek holiness and peace. Stay united. Thank you again, Justin True, Jalen. I appreciate that. And Ilea, thank you. You know you don't have to do that. All right, and then we have U.S. sees rising risk in breathtaking China nuclear expansion. So, Dex, we've talked about this over the last 3 years, and now there is so much chatter about how fast they are going. Now there are military in our military group saying that they are way, way beyond what the legacy media will even say. As far as like what we know, and the expanded fields are only some of what they are doing. They are doing this times 15, according to one of our higher up members. Can you see that as being real?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I can see it myself, at least in the reporting that we've done over the last year, but even the last couple of years, like everything that we've been reporting about their expansion, and the funding that they obviously got from their capitalistic moves during the last decade or so. But more specifically, these leaders in our military have been very outspoken. And, at first it was like, hey, you can sort of just write it off. They're rattling the cage, so to speak, because they know they need funding, right? It's funding time. So the military needs their dollars. So they got to make everything look bad. But it was more than just that. It became, this expert, this leader, that leader. And now here's yet another conversation we're getting a little bit into, not a lot, because this is going to be a closed door meeting, right? The intel and what's going to be presented is not going to be open for the public. So, but they are, sort of hinting towards this expansion that has been going at a rapid pace, especially on the nuclear side.
So and we'll see if this is right. So I'm gonna to just tell you what higher up ranking member told us, and that it is 15 times what the current estimates are, and it's all being done simultaneously. So mark my words, that comes true. You heard it here first. If it doesn't, I will correct it. 15. And that's a low estimate. So if they're saying that they're making 300 new silos, it is 15 times that. That would make logical sense if they were trying to at least match Russia. Maybe us, right? I believe we have less than the bear. So if they were to do that, would they do that over 30 years or would they do that in 2 years? What's scary is that they're doing it so fast. Even if you just take what they said is public, which the thumbnail is actually in the background, that is satellite photos, and they've highlighted all of the silos, and they've done it in fields like all grouped together. So each one of those is a tubes. Think about this. If those are grouped together like that and not separated, they would be one target. That's basically kind of saying like, it doesn't matter that they're grouped together because they're all launching at the same time. Dex, have you thought about that? How they've grouped those together? Like they're grouping 100 together, like a whole field of these things together. Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, certainly. And then you also have to think though, that's just what we saw. Like that's the only image, or that's the only intel we got. What about what's not seen? What about the rest of it? And what other locations? Where are they placed? Probably in remote areas where it's hard to get intel from or get visuals from outside of satellite. But yeah, and by the way, the 2021 numbers of nukes were rated at Russia 600, or sorry, the bear 6,257, us 5,500, and then the dragon 350. So they have a long way to go. So that 15 number, 15x you're talking, it definitely would jump them to the top of the list.
So think about it this way too, is if they have those fields full of them, they can hide from satellites' eyes. They could be doing it all over. I mean, they could be doing it close to the Himalayas or on their part of the border. They could be doing it undercover. One silo, they're huge. I mean, they're bigger than a foundation of a house just for one silo. But they could be doing that undercover. They could put up a temporary garage roof from satellite that looks like just a garage. Even if you flew by with the plane, it might look like excavation, but it might not pop up to you. I know that we have some fields, like several in areas, right? But some of them are single silos in areas, and they're spread out. Strategically, that makes sense, because if you have them spread out and somebody is to go and try to hit all of them, they have to spread out, it's redundancy. It's to have multiple, so if one of them doesn't get hit, it's launching. But, and strategic placement of those matters a whole lot. But I don't know. I think it says something that they're doing like 100 just all in one field. That creeps me out. Does it creep you out? Let me know in the comments down below. We'll see if 15x, they say 300 over the next whatever year, so 15 times 300, that's at least, that is at least 4,500 or something. All right, and then yeah, no, we mentioned that yesterday. We'll talk about that here in a minute. UFOs had, by the way, this is not from a tabloid. This is not from the Star. This is not from the Inquirer. This isn't from this is from documents from the Pentagon. UFOs had sexual encounters with people and left women pregnant, says Pentagon docs. There's some context here, but it's still like, what? It says that wild claims were made in bombshell Pentagon documents obtained by the Sun from the Defense Intelligence Agency, or the DIA, as part of a huge Freedom of Information request. Which, by the way, I just talked to Tyler again, and I guess he's super busy. But I would love to hear his opinion on all of this. Apparently, he hasn't made a video in a couple weeks because his health isn't doing too well. So if we can, send some prayers to Tyler from Secure Team. He's in a rough shape again. Personally, you guys know I have had a roller coaster of health issues myself, and you probably noticed I wheeze. I can't talk all the way through. I have to pause. I do appreciate that there were people that even when I was gone or sick had my back. He did not have that same kind of, he had some people that were loyal, but as I did that video before, it's like, if you say you're like actually going to back somebody like a YouTuber or somebody like myself, if you say you're loyal or you're a Foogle fan member or whatever else, it's when things are not doing well and you are basically supporting that person. When he was on a low, no matter what that low was, whatever was going on in his life, none of us are perfect, and it was all about like who had his back through that. If you noticed, once he started posting, people just went and put him through the ringer. He's finally getting out of that since he's been more consistent, but I guess it's easy to support somebody when everybody is saying the same thing, but it's harder to support somebody when people are tearing them through the garbage. It shows a lot more character when doesn't matter what anybody else says, you stick up for that person. So when things aren't good and you still support that person, that those are true people in my eyes. And I think that nobody is perfect. Every one of us has made mistakes. And for those that have stuck with, all of these people through time and time again, stuck with me through thick and thin, I appreciate it. As far as this is an actual document, and it essentially talks about UFO injuries. Pentagon docs include a list of possible impacts of seeing a UFO: hair loss, headaches, nightmares, fever, nosebleeds, burnt skin, heart palpitation, and pregnant. It says the document features a useful database which listed the biological effects of UFO sightings on humans and their frequency, compiled U.S.-based civilian research agency MUFON. This includes bizarre occurrences as apparent abduction, accounted for a pregnancy, sexual encounters, experience of telepathy, and perceived teleportation. There have been 5 reported sexual encounters between UFOs and humans, says the study. What if any of that was true? What if even one of those was true and the government knew about it. Like, first contact was with Susie or Bobby, whatever, whoever it was. Maybe Bobby got pregnant. Maybe that's the big push for all this stuff. Don't know. Says the report prepared for the DIA goes on to say UFO sightings can leave witnesses injured, suffering radiation burns, brain problems, and damaged nerves. It warns that such objects may be, quote, a threat to United States interests. And this is on the tail of yesterday's story, or the day before was, they say that these Navy ships were followed by these huge car-sized red balls of light that were swooping in, and the heat-guided weapon systems could not lock on. And a bunch of people had their phones out, and it was a TikTok moment, you could say. And the videos from that and all of this kind of crazy stuff. This was just like yesterday. Now they're coming out with this crazy stuff. Will we have a fake alien invasion, a real alien invasion? What do you think? Put it in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. And Dex, let's get our next caller on. It looks like we have Shane. Shane is on hold and wants to talk about the moon. Oh my gosh. And while you get Shane on, by the way, I finally saw Moonfall. And man, oh man. Within the first 30 seconds, I already, like, my meter went way down, and I was like, oh, this is going to be crap. First of all, if you notice in that movie, if you have seen Moonfall yet, it is a bad movie. It is a really bad movie. Yeah, and I usually like the end of the world movies. It goes really fast. Like, all of a sudden, things just happen in a weird order. Like, somebody that didn't speak English wrote the script. Like, they were translating it or something. I say that too, knowing that it was the H brothers, the Howey, and it purposely says H brothers instead of Howey brothers in the beginning. And then it's made by Tencent. Tencent is the same one who makes all of the Call of Duty mobile or the PUBG type stuff. These are huge Chinese corporations that own Hollywood and are making these big budget films, and a lot of them are now going to these other companies. That movie was it literally had a part where basically, guess who saves the day with their shuttle lander? It's all about NASA, but NASA couldn't do it without the help of China. Comes in clutch with their advanced space capsule rover thing, and just so happens it fits it in there. The movie was so bad. It just goes so fast. In the first 15 minutes, you're like, wait, there was no lead up to this. Now you're walking around the White House. Oh my gosh. Horrible movie. I love bad end of the world movies. That one was just bad. Dex, let's get Shane, and it looks like Shane is on live.
Hey, what's up, Adam? Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's going on, Shane? So, what do you want to talk about with the moon?
Yeah, well, it doesn't surprise me. You would love scary end of the world, crazy movies, given everything that you talked about. Great show tonight. I want to say that Trisha, simplified, Tuco Hunden, everything you said was right on point, at least how I feel and see it as well. So much to talk about. That's not the reason why I called in. Initially, you said something at the beginning, and typically almost every show you mention something around this great debate on the shape of where we're finding ourselves currently living. Whether you got sucked into that YouTube rabbit hole or not, or you were triggered when your friend brought it up and now you think he's an idiot, or whatever side of the fence you find yourself on, there is this massive divide, and we're all searching for a truth, or those that are asking the questions are searching for a level of truth. And I just wanted to invite those or maybe expose some people that haven't come across this research around the moon and it being really a reflective mirror in real time of the Earth's existence. So planets, waters, even constellation systems, the phases. And there's a great body of research being done right now. And so whether you believe that it's 268,000 miles away or you're still wondering where the hell you're at, whether it's pancake or whether we're hurling through space at 550,000 miles an hour, spinning on ourselves. All the math that doesn't quite really make sense in our guts. I've kind of found some peace with a body of research that's being called Vibes of Cosmos. And when you look at the overlays of the maps and the moon during dinner, it's amazing. It outlines all the bodies of water, all of our known continents, even continents that aren't known, which is very interesting. All the canals perfectly. The outlines are perfect. And so I'll just leave it at that.
I have a question.
And what's very interesting. Go ahead.
You didn't see the movie Moonfall? I did. I guess I didn't say that there were some interesting things in that. In the movie, the theorist, the guy who discovers it first, which apparently didn't discover it first, and NASA already knew about it at the same time, so the whole trailer doesn't make sense now. But said that he's a mega structurist, and that's what he calls himself. He essentially says that the moon is a white dwarf star, and I don't want to ruin too much, but it basically is a power structure and a Dyson sphere around it, and they've encased it to make it look like the moon, but it's actually something that's drawing power off of a white dwarf star, and it floats near Earth or whatever. And Earth was actually basically our ancestors sent down DNA and started over and parked this thing right outside of it. And basically it's a satellite. It's an interesting theory. If you see the movie, I don't want to ruin too much because some people may. I don't want to ruin the only part they didn't put in the trailer, but yeah, what do you think about it possibly being artificial?
Very interesting. Well, going over the review, the moon is a focused plasma phenomenon, and it happens in the ethereal field above. So it is a semi-ethereal, showing us the material field in the world in which we live. It's a mirror of the Earth, and so that's why we always see the same face of the moon. So it's the face of the Earth in real time. If that makes sense.
What a trip. But is it back in time or something? Or a future? Is it a future Earth or? Well, and the weirdest part is that it's 400 times away.
Research says it's in what's that? Sorry, there's a little bit of delay, I guess. Same thing with happened with Trisha. I apologize. I'm not trying to.
No, that's probably. I don't know what that is, but that as far as one of the things that a lot of people have a problem with is that it is the exact same size as the sun, and the sun being 400 times farther, but yet it's the exact same size in the sky. It's like the math is almost too crazy to.
Yeah. So the sun is a focused plasma phenomenon of energy, which is positive, and the moon being that of negative. Their shapes are like lenses, and they have the same exact size. His research says that their altitude is around 5,500 to 6,000 kilometers, and their diameter is 50 to 55 kilometers. So what we've been told, and in my opinion, I don't know the truth. I don't claim to be on either side, but as you mentioned earlier, we just want the truth. And we're getting glimpses of it. I don't think we're ever going to know the true thing. This place is so incredible. If your eyes are open, then I mean, just the human body, the plant life. If you're a gardener, if you just open your freaking eyes, it's a phenomenal world. And I don't think we came from space stuff. But anyway, what a great way to convince us that we're nothing. To throw us on. We were created either from monkeys or a space rock or a bang, hurling through space with no known destination, and every day we have to wake up to something scary. As Trisha said, and this is a fantastic point, and so to get away from the moon, guys, all I wanted to do was introduce those that are interested in this kind of research. Vibes of Cosmos is putting out a great body of research, and there is a building community around it that is verifying it, so which is incredible. But more importantly, what Trisha said, whatever we're going through right now has been planned for so long, and it's going to unfold, unfortunately, unless there is some great intervention, which I thought it would be up to people, but I think that time is too late. So.
Well, or what if it is?
That'll be it.
What if it was already? What if it's already happened a billion times over, and it's? I guess the great knowledge would be that it's going to happen again and again and again and again. Dex?
One thing, hey, real quick, Adam, one thing I would ask you, or would leave you guys with to think about, how come the Vatican is so interested in, astronomy and the Lucifer telescope and things like that? Do they know what this moon, I'm sure that they know. That's probably the greatest secret that they're holding, is what the true nature of our reality is. And so look at the moon, look into the research, and just ask yourself some simple questions, and then let the energy, let whatever that force is, just kind of answer. And
Dex, are we out of time?
No, we're getting close, but I just wanted to say there's a link that he provided to a channel, which is Vibes of Cosmos, which is what he's talking about, and that'll be available on our website. I just want to remind people, if they're looking for the information that Shane is talking about, we'll have it linked on the website.
And I'll put it up. I don't want to play anybody's copyrighted stuff, but I will show you the site, so then you actually can pause it there and then be able to see what he is talking about here. I'm going to switch it over so it doesn't autoplay somebody's thing. But that is the channel name there. And as always, whether I know about it or like it or not, or if somebody suggests it, then I will always, of course, go check it out, because guess what? That's what you should do. Not tell people not to see something, or, tell somebody not to go watch somebody. You guys are grown adults, most of you, so go check it out. I think it's fascinating. One thing is, I don't know, I guess I'm confused. I'll have to go check out the videos to see what the full thing is. But sounds interesting. It definitely sounds like it'd be something to, at least I'm open-minded about everything. There's no, you can't
it's
be
very simple and to the point. He doesn't talk. I don't even know where he's from. So, which makes it even more interesting to me. Could this be somebody that was higher up that is just putting out some profound information that humanity needed to know about at this time? If this is completely real, those are great pictures to start to digest. But his research is so deep, and if this is 100% true, it is a game changer. There's no more conversation. There's no more debate about FE or a spinning basketball. None of that stuff. Now we have some real questions to ask and answers to be had, and we need to come together and figure it out. And I'll just leave it at that. I appreciate you guys, and love the fam. Love you, Dex. Thank you, Adam.
Well, thank you, Shane. Have a wonderful night. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out. Now, another strange instance is, so here's my thing. One big argument is that if we're going 550,000 miles through space, why don't we feel it or anything? I think about it. I personally know that, people in Japan can go 300 miles on a train and it doesn't feel any different from going 50 miles on a train. I guess it depends. When you're in a jet and you get going, you don't feel the G's, but when you accelerate, you do feel the G's. If it was in constant motion. But again, I know that there's all sorts of arguments. The one thing I don't like, I don't care about theories, and I'm open-minded to hear anybody's well-spoken and polite theory, like Shane. But when people just come in and if you don't believe automatically what they're saying, because they've done thousands of hours of research, that they call other people stupid or idiots or that, I hate that. By the way, some of our mods are actually on one side and some of them are on the other. I don't care what you believe. That's fine. It's you. You can believe whatever you like. It should be that way. And I'm not going to be mad at you or not be your friend because you believe something different than I am. I don't like the people that just won't associate with somebody that believes something different from them. What do you call that kind of person? That's kind of rude. By the way, rapper Gunu's corpse propped up at a club. I wanted to cover this yesterday. We didn't get time, but this is just so creepy. The guy's funeral, his family rented out a club because he's a rapper. He was apparently almost to success. And he, like many other up-and-coming street, gangster rappers, was shot and his life was taken. And I believe he was only 21 years old. Well, what they did is they put him front and center in a club, his actual body, and the club was rented out as a funeral, thought it was just a get-together. They didn't know. I don't think and I really don't think they knew, because any club that rented it out, and if they said, hey, can we prop up a dead body on your stage, I bet you they would say no. That is creepy. Okay, that looks demonic. He's wearing a crown, whatever else. But something else about this too, like, I don't know, man. There's got to be some weird symbolism there. Where's Joseph Newhouse, by the way? Has anybody seen Joseph Newhouse? Is he still around? Dex, have you seen Joseph Newhouse? Usually he would look into videos like this and make videos on it.
Yeah, he's been around. I've seen him in chat.
Okay. Oh, it's kind of weird when you don't see people. You wonder if they're okay. Yeah, Gunu. His name was Gunu. And he was 24 years old, and they called his funeral the final show, and they did music, and they actually played music and stuff. I guess some could look at this like, hey, it's fun. This is literally almost like, what was it, Dane Cook, that said that his funeral, he wanted to like pop out like a puppet on strings and like scare the crap out of everybody. He said that like that would be the ultimate joke as he went out. This is kind of like that, right? They put him on a rap stage. He's a rapper, so they put him on stage and stood him up. Somebody's got to be a Dane Cook fan in this family or something. You would say like, hey, it's a celebration of life, right? But I think that's quite a dark celebration of life. There's something just creepy about that. And they said
it's definitely a different version of awake, right?
Yeah, right. And by the way, they said that there were mixed emotions. Half the people were like dancing and just like getting down, and then half the people were just staring at the dead body in the room. Literally. Creepy stuff. Very, very creepy. What do you think of that? Is that a sign of the times, or is that something that you would say, hey, it's, I don't know how you could, I don't know. Is it any different? Yeah, it's different than a open casket. That's open. All right. Stephen Click, thank you, says, in the book of Enoch, it says moon and sun are the same size and follow the same paths inside the firmament or Earth's atmosphere and are blown by wind. Well, that would definitely contradict some stuff, wouldn't it? And then Red Pill, thank you for the super sticker and the super chat there. Thank you so much. I do like super stickers, but I think the comments, I get to actually get to know people. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate all of the support. Almost find that like that's even cooler because you don't want to get a message out there or anything. You're just supporting. So that's cool. Let's see here. Jalen, thank you so much again. Nice to see you in here. And then Awakened Believer, thank you everybody that popped in. And then over on D-Live, just a lot of great people over there. Thank you so much. Lead Dispenser, thank you. Zippy Moons, thank you. Laguna Berry, especially thank you guys. Defrustrated, again, thank you. Defrustrated, just make sure email me, adam@marfooglenews.com. Tell me what happened. And then frustrated Squatch, thank you. Lisa K23, don't stop preparing. It's like, don't stop believing, only it's don't stop preparing. Dex, thank you for your service tonight. Do you want to go over the web only? And before we go, I do want to remind you, make sure to go over and check out marfooglenews.com/energy. If you use the code Marfoogle, you will end up giving us credit for that. I appreciate it. I know that a lot of you are already looking to get this exact model because energy is one of the most coveted solar generators out there. This thing is absolutely amazing. It is powering my entire show. This is the generator that we chose. Again, this is an absolutely amazing system. The reason why is you can expand it. You can add batteries. In fact, you can go with the one battery that comes with it, or you can go and buy 95 more. Now, I highly doubt that people will, but the fact that you can expand this and stack and connect up to 96 batteries to one unit is pretty impressive. That means the battery time that you get on this generator is just unbelievable. It's basically sky's the limit. I don't know if there's anybody that's ever hooked up 96, but I don't know how many hours that would be. That's incredible. But the cool part, this is silent. So when SHTF ever happens, and eventually it will down the road if you go far enough, this is something that people cannot hear. People won't hear it running in your backyard because another thing, you can run this inside. That is something you can't do with most gas generators. Also, gas is obviously on its way out, and gas will be hard to attain. So whether you are trying to get your first generator or you are trying to switch from and away from gas because of the obvious reasons, make sure to go over and check this out. It helps out the channel, and it is a smart move at this point, whether you're preparing for the end of the world or just your next storm. That's energy with an I. That's marfooglenews.com/energy. It's one of the fastest charging when you add in all of the different mods that you can do. That is why a lot of people chose this one. And again, there is a waiting list. You got to get in as soon as possible if you want, and especially if you believe something's going down sooner than later. There is a list, and you need to get on it to get one. Dex?
And Adam, we're running out of time. I want to make sure everybody knows that the show will be ending in just a moment here on YouTube, but it'll flip over to Marfoogle Jams. If you're not aware of web-only content, head over to marfooglenews.com or open that description and go to web-only content. You're missing the rest of the show. There's some really hot stuff there going on, so go check it out. Some videos from our current prez and what's been going on there. It's kind of interesting. Some updates from EpiPen and other, not him, but that story, and many others. So go check it out. Everything else we could cover is there on marfooglenews.com.
Thank you, Dex. I thought you were going to start rapping. It's time for the shoutro. This continues over on D-Live. It never stops, in fact. Or you can go over to Marfoogle Jams on YouTube. The live show doesn't stop there, because it's the shoutro.
What's down? Everyone's an expert now. Everyone wears a crown. Word up. What's down? Everyone's an expert now. Everyone wears a crown. Word up. What's down? Everyone's an expert now. Everyone wears a crown. tag to post to heaven. Had sent